So the fleet are currently sailing in this really nice westerly wind to the north of this low pressure here. We've got Yannick on board Matricock, leader of the race, due north of it, and also Boris on board Sea Explorer to the northwest of it, sailing this large pack of boats. And he's about as close as he's going to get to Point Nemo, the most isolated point in the ocean, which is about 200 miles to the north of him. But it's quite an interesting weather situation ahead. We can see we've also got this large front to the east of the fleet now, which is moving quickly this way. But if we have a look at the ensemble routings, firstly we've got the routings for Boris on board Sea Explorer, and you can see there's a massive spread in the in what the routings predict the fastest way down to Cape Horn, the final cape of the race, will be. It's really uncertain as to what's the best route to take. And if we also have a look at Matricock, Yannick Bestven leading the race, you can see that it's a much different situation. There's a very straight line, very direct, and he's able to sail straight towards Cape Horn, and there's a lot of certainty that this will be the route that he can take. We can have a look at why that might be a bit different and why it might be a bit more difficult for Boris to choose his route. So if we have a look at the weather 24 hours from now, so 11:30 UTC tomorrow, Boris' expected position is to be here. And Yannick is over here, this red star, and we can see what's happened down in the south. So this low pressure has formed two separate cells, and they've got two different sort of fronts or air masses associated with them. So you've got this original one that we saw is well ahead of the fleet now, and then you've also got this second front, which is here. And basically what's going to happen is this front is going to pass over the top of Boris, and rather than having this northwesterly wind in 24 hours, the wind will eventually start coming from the west, which will mean he'll have to jibe back and forth to make his way towards Cape Horn. And obviously it's slightly less direct, slightly less fast if he has to zigzag like this. Whereas Yannick, he'll be able to stay in front of this second front which is formed, and he'll be able to sail right along the ice gate in a much more direct route towards Cape Horn. But we can have a look at these different air masses if we look at the air temperatures. So this is 24 hours from now as well. And you can see you've got the temperature gauge here, and you can see how there's this big air mass, this big front of two different air masses. There's one there, and then there's this slightly less defined one which has formed and caused the two low pressure cells to form rather than there just being one big one. So if you have a look at 48 hours from now, we can see that Boris will have started to have to do a couple of jibes to stay in this wind, whereas Yannick is still ahead of this second front in this very good northwesterly winds, and he'll be able to sail a direct route. So a bit of a tricky choices to be made. The expected time to Cape Horn is the leaders to be there around the 2nd or 3rd of December. So we've still got a few more days in the south and a few more weather systems to navigate.